All right, let's have a look at the driver market. And we're not going to mess around like Brundle and Davidson do. We're going to give it to you straight. This is what we're absolutely sure, sort of, is going to happen.
So I'm absolutely sure that Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg are staying at Mercedes, and that Ferrari are not going to change their mind, and Kimi is going to stay.
Yeah, get on with it.
And Red Bull are going to go with Danny Kvyat and Daniel Ricciardo, and Williams have already said Bottas and Massa, which brings us on to McLaren.
Okay, so Jensen is going to retire, unfortunately.
Is he? So you don't want to put Jensen Button in?
Well, I think he's going to retire. Jonathan Neal pretty much said as much as that in the press conference. He said you can't make a driver drive for you if he doesn't want to. So in his place...
Well, this man wants to drive for them.
Well, he's in head on the seniority, but then Jonathan Neal also said to me this afternoon, you've got to go with talent. And so for me, that means the Belgian.
Stoffel Van Dorn, been groomed for the McLaren seat. GP2 champion in the making. Should we lock them in?
I'm going to lock that one in. Yep.
Okay, Force India have announced this week Sergio Perez will partner Nico Hülkenberg, so they're locked in as well. What about Lotus? Pasta has signed. He's signed and he's signed.
He has, yeah. So I think they're going to go, if the Renault deal goes through, Renault want a French driver, so I think it's going to be either Jean-Eric Vergne, Esteban Ocon, despite his Spanish-sounding name, is French, or Pierre Gasly, the young Red Bull guy who's also French.
Well, I'd like to put Esteban Ocon in there, but he's a Mercedes driver, so that kind of, is a bit of a
Jeff's
problem.
a Ferrari driver, so you'd have to get him out of that Ferrari deal.
Yeah, but he's only there, isn't he, as a reserve and test driver. You could easily get him out of that deal, and he would have a bit of backing from Total.
Okay, all right, I agree with that. I think it's going to be Maldonado and Jev, which I think isn't too bad a lineup.
I think that's a very good lineup, and we want to see Jev back in Formula One. Max Verstappen should be with Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, got no problem with that. I mean, they could put Gasly in maybe if they don't think Carlos Sainz is doing a good job, but Sainz is doing a good job, so let's lock that in.
He's doing a very good job. Mana Marussia, 2 seats available here, Ted.
Okay, well, next year we're going to drop the Marussia, hopefully, so it's just going to be Mana Mercedes, because they are going to do a deal with Mercedes, we believe. And I think because they do a deal with Mercedes, they get, as a big discount off their engines, Pascal Wehrlein, the young Mercedes driver, in as team leader.
Absolutely, saves them an absolute fortune, doesn't need to bring a budget with him if the engines are cheap. But who else could they go? Will Stevens. Will has got a budget for next year, has got some big backers, but has he impressed enough?
I'm afraid it's going to be Will I Am Not for Stevens. And
see what you've done
my
there.
tip for that one is going to be Rio Haryanto, the Indonesian driver backed by Pertamina, the Indonesian state oil and gas company, and with a massive check, will join these two.
No, I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you there.
No,
I know he's got
a
link with the team in his GP3 days. I'm going to put in the man who currently occupies that seat, the birthday boy today, Alex Rossi.
Not as much money as Haryanto. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, I'm afraid.
I'm going to lock him in and take seniority on that one, I'm afraid. And Haas. So what do you reckon for Haas?
Yeah, absolutely nailed on is Romain Grosjean, and...
absolutely nailed on is Esteban Gutierrez, and has been for a while.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, with Sauber keeping their lineup for 2016, is that. We've locked it all in. Forget the experts. Ted and Dave have come up with it again. McLaren, Jensen Button sadly goes, Stoffel comes in, and then we have Jean-Eric Vergne returning, Carlos Sainz staying, Pascal Wehrlein for his debut, and Alex Rossi for a full season. Gutierrez and Grosjean, thank you very much indeed.
I'm not happy about one thing.
What's that?
Only one Brit in the field.
It's not good.